Welcome to the channel and welcome to this Boarding Actions Battle Report where my homebrew chapter, the Astral Embers, face off against the Tyranids. So for those of you who don't know, Boarding Actions is a kind of mix between 40k and Space Hulk, kind of 500-point battles in these enclosed environments, which have doors, which have special rules and things. You can open them at the end of your turn. I've put these sort of chevrons on the top of mine so that when we're looking from above, it's a little bit more readable where the doors are. I hope that works. I think some work more than others. Yeah, this will be my first time playing 40k for quite a while, and my first time playing Boarding Actions, so apologies if I get any rules wrong. One of the rules that I have got wrong straight away is that you're not supposed to use bikes in Boarding Actions, but I feel like if those aggressors can get through, and a what's it called, a Tyranid warrior can get through, then he can get through. You may be wondering why the Tyranid warrior looks like that. Bit of an odd color scheme. Basically, my daughter painted that when she was like 5, so I've kept it like that. I should probably do the base though, and that's actually what my Tyranid army looks like. Right then, so I will go through what the different sides are. So first up is, we'll go through the Space Marines, shall we? We have a Primaris Chaplain on bike, as you can see. I've added some more points onto his cost, just to sort of make it up. He's hits in combat on 3s. Hits in combat on 2s. He's got a big movement range of 14. What I'm going to do also is, because in 40k you can kind of move and rotate fairly freely with vehicles, I'm actually going to use some reason. So, if he bursts into a door or something, I'm not going to say that he can just like freely move wherever. I'm going to try and take into account the actual maneuvering of the bike, just to try and, I suppose, nerf it a bit so that it's not just too overpowered. I've also thought about, traditionally with this game, like with this mode, when you get to the end of a move, unless you've got special rules, that's when you can choose to open a door. What I'm thinking of doing, because the doors do have a certain way that they open, I might just say that he can't go into doors that open that way, for example. But if he wanted, let's say he could burst through a door that goes that way. I don't know. I think honestly, I used to read like Judge Dredd and things when I was a kid, and I just love that. The bikes are totally inspired by Judge Dredd. Let's have some Judge Dredd awesome moments. So we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, what's he got? So he's got Exaltation of Rage. He can give a friendly priest or character within 6 inches, adding 1 to their attack rolls if it's successful. Litany of Hate, if this litany works, within 6 inches, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, you can re-roll the hits. So you can either have +1s to hit, or you can have, what's it called? Rerolls to hit. He's got a 4+ invulnerable. He has a bit of an aura for leadership. He's got 7 wounds, pistols, twin bolters on his bikes. Yeah, so basically, he's kind of tough in combat. He can kill stuff. He can also inspire people around him to be better. Next up, we've got the aggressors. These are just fairly basic. What they called flame. What's it called? The weapon that they've got, the Flame Storm Gauntlets, is it? Yeah. So they can flame up people, or they can squish people in combat. But it's harder for them to hit things, but they just absolutely eviscerate things if they actually get them in their hands. Hellblasters, pretty long range plasma riflers. Rapid fire, so they can shoot twice if they stand still, or if it's in half range, pretty standard. And we've also got these Assault Primaris. I'm going to give this a bit of narrative and basically say that like these guys are trying to find the truth of their origins. What are they trying to find? Maybe leave a comment if you think you can think of something cool for the Astral Embers to find. I do like the color scheme. I think that's pretty cool. I went for like a red, almost like Japanese style sort of burning ember. and orange and black like embers can be. Anyway, hope you like them. On top of that, they've also got the other rules that I always forget, and they shall know no fear, angels of death, bolt of discipline, and also the different turn doctrines. So much to remember these days in 40k, honestly. Another thing about boarding actions is no more stratagems, or at least you've got like a reroll for one, or like fight first in combat for two, and there's another one, I think it's Overwatch related. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to Tyranids. So here we have an expertly painted Tyranid Prime. Despite having two actual bone swords, there's a lash whip and a bone sword, and also a venom cannon, so kind of shooty. No invulnerable save on that. I think it's a 3-up save. So for a warlord, a little bit squishy because you get so many invulnerable saves with pretty much everything now. 1 unit of 10 Gene Stealers. They have Toxin Sacks, so any hit rolls of 6 automatically wound their targets. And a few other little ones. Lightning Reflexes, so they get a 5-up invulnerable or a 4-up invulnerable in combat. Yeah, just absolutely nails. I feel like this kind of battle, like the main thing for Gene Stealers when you're playing with them is to not get them killed before they can get into combat. And once they get into combat, they're quite happy. There's a lot of cover here for them to stay out of like getting shot, basically. So it does bode well for them, honestly. Here we have a unit of 10 Hormagaunts, is it? Termagants, what are they called? I always get them mixed up. Yeah, Hormagaunts, sorry. They've got Hormagaunt Talons, which are AP -1. They have Bounding Leap, so they can pile in a bit more. And I think there's another one about them being swarmy. We go over the ramparts here, and we have a unit of, that's 8. And there's another unit of 10. So all in, it's 28 Hormagaunts, 10 Gene Stealers, and a Tyranid Prime. Very melee focused. That's the only shooting that this army has. But I feel like in this layout, sorry. I feel like that doesn't. I don't think that's too much of a negative for the Tyranids, to be honest. The concerns for this side, I mean, they got good armor saves and they got some firepower. It's just like not getting swamped by all those mouths and sides and things. And also, this guy's mobility and strength at killing things, I need to make sure that I don't get carried away as the Astral Embers and just put him into risk. Do you know what I mean? Just charge him in there and he'll get swamped, and probably not long for this world. So this mode that we're playing is fairly straightforward. 4 objectives. That one's not in the right place. It should be there. Move it down. Basically, hold 1 for some points, hold more for more points, hold more than your opposition for even more points. And also, at the end, you will get more victory points for how many points worth of stuff you've killed. So, yeah, let's move on to actually having a little play. So the first bit is to determine attacker or defender. Where possible, I use purple dice for Tyranids, orange for Astral Embers, because that makes sense. So the winner gets to choose. So the Tyranids are basically get to choose who's going to be attacker or defender, and basically Tyranids are going to choose to attack because it's the Tyranids. Deployment starts basically 1 unit at a time. You get very strict deployment zones. There's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So Space Marines will deploy 1, and then Tyranids will deploy 1, and then on we go. So thinking in terms of like playing to your strengths, these guys have like a 30-inch range, so they need to be out in the open really. So I'm going to put them over here. They're looking pretty good to go there. So next up is the Tyranids to deploy. So the Gene Stealers have special spawning rules, which I think the interpretation in boarding actions is that you can't just like put them anywhere, but I think I can put them next to one of the deployment squares that would that is valid. Sorry, it will be here. So I'm actually going to hide these right in this corner. Just operation don't get the Gene Stealers shot for the Tyranids here. Next up, I'm going to choose to deploy my choppy chaps over here. They're going to be basically trying to stay in cover. All the doors start in a closed position, by the way. One's open as well. All right, creaky doors. Right, so they're there to try and also, well, there's no range, is there? So yeah, they're just going to try and get through. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the deployment. So deployment finished. Here we have the Hormagaunts. Some of them are lying down because honestly, life's too short to stand these up. All, but watch, these miniatures were made as a test of mental will. Oh, past this time, honestly, I tried to stand them up about 3 times previously. Here we have the Tyranid Prime with his Venom Cannon. He's basically hoping to exert some kind of pressure down here, because down here we have the Hellblasters and also the Primaris Bike. Just trying to get some firepower going down there. Here we have these guys. I feel like they could very easily get swamped by all this, so we're not going to be too gung-ho with them. I feel like there's, I don't know how effective these are. I've never used them before. This is my first outing for them. This whole army's basically just been painted up and then sat there for 6 months. So yeah, some of these units, I have no idea how to use them. I mean, ideally, I think I'd probably send these to get tanks and things with their power fists, but there's no tanks to kill. Chop your boys over there to try and get in and chop. Right then, so without further ado, I think now we get to roll off and we will see who gets to go first. Here we go, roll time. And wow, look at that. Space Marines win the roll off and we'll go first. So before doing the movement, I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do. They're basically going to move up to there, try and open a door. These going to try and move up here, try and hold that objective and maybe get some shots off if they're in range. And the bike also, maybe a slightly advanced position. Or shall I hide behind the Hellblasters or get in front? Oh, I'll get in front. It's cooler, isn't it? And then these are going to go through there and try and get through there. All right then, there you go. Movement's complete. Everything that I said happened. These doors have opened. The 6 inches didn't get them too far, to be honest, and also line of sight really matters base to base for these. So the guys at the 2 won't be able to shoot in boarding actions. I mean, they're probably not in range, to be honest, but yeah, let's see if we can do any shooting. Primaris Chaplain on the bike is actually just in range there, so we're going to do some shooting. It's a rapid fire 2, strength 4, -1 AP, 1 damage. And let me just check what he hits on. So hitting on 3s. Prime's a toughness 5, so wounding on a 5. Fails the wound. Uh-oh. Ping. Not good shooting. And that is the end of Space Marine turn 1. We use this dice to count the turns. For the Tyranids, basically everyone's just going to move up and try and get through doors. And this guy is going to try and move up and put some pain on him. And they're going to move up and, I suppose, try and screen a little bit. I don't know. Try and grab the objective. Yeah. So the Tide moves forward and he's in range and he's going to shoot at this Primaris Chaplain. So he hits on... Oh, sorry, he gets D3 shots first. Oof, so he's getting 3 these little purple dice. And he's going to hit on 2s. Wow, that's pretty good shooting, isn't it? Oof, all hit. I'm going to command re-roll this because I feel like a 2's good roll to try and re-roll. So these do... These do 2 damage each, -3 AP, but he does get a 4-up invulnerable. So he needs 4-up invulnerables. And all but 1. Shall I CP it? I'm going to CP that just to keep wounds off my Primaris. Ah, it's failed, okay. He was on 7 wounds, and now he's down to 5. So, kind of first woundage to the Tyranids there. And that is the end of the Tyranid turn 1. Now we move on to the Space Marine turn 2, sorry. So starting off in the command phase, we control 1, so that's 5 victory points that we get. If we had 2, I think it's 10, and then if you have more than enemy, it's another, like, to a maximum of 15. Anyway, so 5 victory points to start off. Honestly, kind of tough decisions here. I think it would be very basic just to run them up there and then get them into combat, but like, I don't want them to get swamped. Um, Part of me thinks just sit back and shoot as much as possible. So I'm actually gonna run these up here, up, then open that door at the end of my turn. These, I think I'm actually gonna run them in there and join the forces here, so that we have a pocket of kind of more impact, because I feel like they're just gonna get swamped elsewhere, or maybe they're just gonna get swamped regardless, to be honest. And the chaplain, again, don't want him to get swamped. I just want him to. I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe the bike's a hindrance, you know, because it gives you these silly options that you shouldn't really go for. So yeah, let's see what happens. Right, so kind of at the last minute, I decided to gun the bike over here. It's going to be harder for him to get shot. He can't get swarmed because these have to come through doors for a couple of turns. They could maybe swamp him, actually. I didn't really think about that. These will be hopefully in range and line of sight to get lots of shots into that. They're coming down here. They didn't have enough range to get to that door, so they've come to this one, which I should have opened, actually. These guys didn't have enough distance to get to this door. So yeah, let's have a look at some shooting. I think that these guys will be very relieved to see on their flanks those friendlies coming through the door. That's a good. So we're going to have 5 of these plasma incinerators going into that over there. These are going to be hitting on 3s because we're in the second turn. Then the rapid fire doctrine is effect, so they get 1 better AP. Their AP is already -4, so that just becomes much oversplattered. So let's see what gets through. These are strength 7. He's toughness 5. Okay, so hit on 3s, wound on 3s. Hitting on 3s. Shall I re-roll one of those? I'm gonna CP for a re-roll. Hitting on 3 again. Yes, that's succeeded. And we're gonna wound on 3s. And definitely, like, really. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. 2 1s, that's not good. Anyway, how many wounds do they do? I think it's 2 each, is it? Oh, they just took 1 each shot. What? Plasma weapon only doing 1 damage. Sure, it was different back in my day. Anyway, he's on 4 wounds now, down from his 6. That is all the shooting that the Space Marines can do, and so we're going to move on to Tyranids turn 2. So basically what we're going to do is, these are going to run up there, open that door. These are going to try and bum rush those. Tyranid Prime is going to hold that, maybe do some shooting at them. These are going to come through here. They won't be able to open the door straight away. And they're going to open that door. And yeah, so basically running at the enemy. That's what's going to happen. A lot of that. So that's happened. These guys are swarming through here. The door's open there. So which means that this Primaris Chaplain is basically going to have some real decisions to make. What are you going to do in his next turn? Because there's definitely a swarming potential there. He's going to shoot at them. These are going to go out there and hold that and maybe have a fight. Who knows? And these right now, or after the shooting, are going to try and charge. Let me see how many inches they need to get in there. That's like they basically need to roll a 9. Oops, sorry, I've just pushed 1 back. That's kind of cheating. Yeah, so they basically need to get a 9 in combat, which I can re-roll. See what happens. So D3 shots for the Venom Cannon. That's 2 shots. And he hits on 2s, doesn't he? Pretty bad shooting. 5 toughness 4, wounded on 3s. And the cannon has a -3 AP, so these guys have to save on a 6, otherwise one of them goes. And that's 1 dead Space Marine. Let's get him out of there. And save him for the points calculating at the end. Right then, let's see if they can get into combat. 2d6. Can we get 9 or more? 8. Oh, it's just short. And these guys are worryingly in the open. Okay, that was that. Let's move on to Space Marines turn 3. So the good news for the Space Marines here at the beginning of their turn 3, which I haven't moved on the dice yet, is that they get 5 points for holding 1 objective. Yes. 5 points for controlling 2 objectives, and another 5 points for controlling 3 objectives, which basically means 15, the maximum that they can get for this turn's victory points, which is pretty good. So for movement, they're going to come through the door to try and support their buddies. I don't think they'll get a charge in, but they might screen a bit for combat. They might shimmy backwards a little bit sheepishly just to let their combat sort of friends do the combat thing. And also, these are going to have to come up and open that door. I think he's going to have to be a little bit selfless, and he's actually going to use his bike and his body to block the door against all of that. So it'll be pretty cool to see how that one turns out. So yeah, let's do that movement. So yeah, movement is complete. They couldn't get all the way around, so they've started to stream around. These guys are very deliberately base lined up, like there is a straight line between him at the back and the, what's it called, the Tyranid Prime. These are in rapid fire distance, and these are going to try and charge if they need to. So yeah, really strengthening this, kind of sacrificing those 2 objectives, like, you know, we're not going for them, and prioritizing taking these. These guys opened the door. I'll be honest, so far they've just been very expensive door openers, so looking forward to seeing them do something soon. And this guy here has pretty much done a very badass and selfless thing, and he's actually put himself in front of this entire wall of hungry aliens. How that's going to play out, I think only time will tell. There's also another door here that they could use to get around him. But yeah, he'll do some shooting. I think he's got grenades. Chuck a grenade in there as well. Let's just chuck a grenade in there anyway. So yeah, interesting times. Let's do some shooting. In fact, let's chuck a grenade first with him. So it's D6 shots. Oops. 3 shots. I just needed to check that they auto hit, and they do. So it's actually wounding on 4s, which is pretty naff. Oh, 2 of them did. So they get their 5 up saves. 1 dead. Oh my god. Let's get the little albino one at the back. That's a very expensive 1 Omicron killer. Ooh, it's not looking good. Also, I don't think his bike could fit in there, so he can't charge in. So he's just going to have to get charged soon. Well, it's a little bit worrying, to be honest. Right, let's move on over here. 1 shot from the Hellblaster going into the, what's it called, the Tyranid Prime. Hitting on a 3. Hits, wounding also on a 3. Wounds, and he doesn't get a save for it. So, that's down to 2 wounds. That was a pretty good single shot there from the Hellblaster. Next we've got 6 shots going into these, rapid firing into these. Pretty much overkill, but that's the only real target they can see. Whoops, hitting on 3s. What we got? 3 of them hit, absolutely just emulsifying them on 2s. Wow, 2 1s rolled. Only killed a single one. Wow. And I'm going to be a tactical Tyranid player and take this away, so they have to do a bigger roll for the charge. Right, that is the shooting, and I'm going to try and charge now with these guys into there. So with that trusty ruler, I've determined that I need to go probably an 8 to get in. Actually, no, let's say it's a 9. Yeah, let's give it a 9. So 9 or more to get into combat. Nope, they're just going to be sitting there. Okay, so with that, that was the end of Space Marines turn 3. They've taken quite a few wounds off him. They've killed a couple of Hormagaunts. And oops, I knocked that with my arm. He was like that. Yeah, let's see what happens now with Tyranids turn 3. Only the 5, what do you call it, victory points this round, because they only have one objective. They got less than the enemy. I think I'm going to move up that squad to hold that objective. That means that in turn 4 and 5 I probably get points for it. This is a problem. I think that I'm going to have to charge him with my Hormagaunts whilst getting my Gene Stealers around the back as a Tyranid player and try and trap him. That gives him problems because he could get swamped and they could get swamped. Yeah. I'm gonna shoot that at the Hellblasters, I think. Try and get them up there and charge the Hellblasters as well. Right, let's see what happens. Let's do that movement. So, displaying their horrific intelligence, the Tyranids here did a little switcheroo. The Hormagaunts ended up going to this door opening, and the Gene Stealers have basically homed in, and they fancy their chances having a little bite at this Primaris chaplain. This is going to be a real challenge for him, to be honest, because Gene Stealers are just horrible in combat. They just do horrific things. Space Marines, don't they? Like in the games and in the lore. Here we have the Hormagaunts doing a pretty good job, to be honest, of putting some pressure on these Hellblasters. Here we have some standing Hormagaunts holding that objective, and we have the Tyranid Prime over here doing his thing, which is pretty good. He's got line of sight on that Space Marine, but I think his base is partially covered, is it? I mean, no, I'm going to say that's not covered. I mean, it's like 1 millimeter covered, so yeah, he's going to get his shots off at that unit. But I think in boarding actions, because he can only see that one Space Marine, I think he can only kill that one, or is it? Maybe that's not the case, I don't know. But yeah, that's the movement. Pretty savage potential. So let's do D3 shots with that Venom Cannon. D3 is 2 shots. And we're going to be hitting on 2s. And both hit. And we're going to be wounding, I think, on 3s. Is it 3s or 2s? Let me check. Yeah, it will be 2s actually. And it has an AP of -3. Yep. So we need 6s here from the Assault Marines to save. We got 1 6, we got 1 4. That is 1 dead Assault Primaris. Okay. Now we move on to close combat. I mean, we're definitely getting in. Let's see, Gene Stealers will charge 10 inches. That gets them in there. These guys on the Hellblasters charge 3 inches. That's going to get them just in. These also have a rule where they have a massive consolidate. So that'll come into play. And then that'll be it. So let's look at this combat first. Our Gene Stealers, what do? They have 4 attacks each. They have special rules, don't they? If they hit on a 6, it's an auto wound. I'm just gonna have a look actually quickly. Yeah, they got -3 AP. He's got a 4 up invulnerable, that'll be useful. But yeah, basically 4 attacks. Hitting on, I'm sure they have a I've given them the hyper aggression, like hive ability, so they get 1 strength extra, so they're strength 5, so they're wounding on 3s, so they're hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, 4 attacks each. There's 4 of them within distance, so what's that? 16 attacks hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. Let me get some dice together. Here we go. I don't want them to go flying too far. Hitting on 3s. I really don't fancy that Choplin's chances here. Crazy high proportion of them hit. I think only 2 missed, which is just daft. Did I miss a 1 there? Anyway, wounding on 3s. Oh, was any 6s there? I'm going to have to watch the video back. So yeah, sorry about that. There was 4 of them with 6s, so they're auto wounds. These wound on 3s. Wow, so many again. And we're going to have a lot of invulnerable saves. They're auto wounds. And he had 5 wounds left. So, wow, he's going to get absolutely shredded here. These need to be 4-ups, all of them, to save that chaplain. If it was 1, I could have rerolled 1, but wow, that is in just 4 Gene Stealers, not even the full unit of 10. That is the Primaris Chaplain on a bike, dead. Honestly, that's a huge blow for the Space Marines. Like, he was like, what, 114 points? That's a fifth of the army, just over a fifth of the army points-wise. It's not looking good. It's not looking good, little Space Marines. Anyway, over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little gribblies, and they're going to attack the Hellblasters. So 6 of them with 3 attacks each is 18 attacks. I'm going to have to get lots of dice. They hit on 3s. They hit on 4s, sorry, they wound on 3s. Here we go, let's get rolling. Actually fairly good rolling, I think, for the odds. Wounding on 3s because they are high fleet, get stronger if you charge. 1, 2, 3, and I think they don't have an AP. Excuse me. Oh, they have an AP of -1 actually, so these need to be 4-up saves for the Space Marines. 1 damage each. That is 1 dead Space Marine, which is less than I thought, to be honest, but there you go. In fact, I'm going to keep the guy who's on the objective. Now, the Space Marines get to fight back. Obviously, the Chaplain doesn't, because he just got absolutely eaten by these Gene Stealers. But yeah, so Hellblaster's going to hit back first for a bit of revenge because they've lost some pals, and then these 2 Assault Intercessors. So I did that off camera, but those 3 Marines and those 2 Marines ended up killing 4. So they're going to need to do a morale check shortly. And I feel like that was an okay turn for the Tyranids. Definitely that was a victory. This doesn't bode well for the Space Marines, who are now over here, having just opened the door. Whoops, bonk. Yeah, let's move on to the morale phase, I suppose, and then do the consolidation. So I think you don't do consolidation in boarding actions because it can be kind of overpowered to just like jump. So I think they stay there. Correct me if I'm wrong. But let's do morale over here. What is it? D6 plus the net amount of models used. 6 plus 4 is 10. They definitely don't have a leadership of 10, so I think I roll a d6 for each. Oh, I take 1 away. One definitely runs away, and then I roll a dice for each one, I think. And on the 1 or a 6, they run away, but it's neither of those things. So 2 left. I think I've done that right. I always struggle with those rules, to be honest, but there you go. All right. Now that was Tyranids turn 3. We're going to move on to Space Marines turn 4. Some victory points at the end of the victory points are now 20 to Space Marines to 10. Sorry, Tyranids. So 20 to 10. At the beginning of Space Marines turn, they're going to get 5 points for holding that objective, and that's it. Yeah. So on the movement. I think these are in engagement, so they're just going to go, and I should have probably done this before, but consolidate and pile in just to finish them off. Shame is that they can't shoot. They're held up for a turn. These guys are going to move up here. I'm just going to do that right now on camera. Just get them on there. And it's also about more models on objectives, so... You could have probably moved it. Let's just stand on it for the Imperium, for the Emperor. Just stand on the objective. Things are about to get toasty for those Gene Stealers. The only shooting I can do is for these guys with their Boltstorm gauntlets, flames, assault D6. They auto hit. They have strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. Honestly, I feel like flame weapons are so underpowered in 40k. which is a bit of a shame, I think. So anyway, 3d6 hits on the Gene Stealers. Come on. Whoa, I mean, that's what you want to see. If you're going to toast and roast some Gene Stealers, that's what you want to see. This is 17 auto-hitting dice on those Gene Stealers. Honestly, if they wipe out these Gene Stealers or make a big dent, that's a game changer. Because to be honest, I thought this flank was... I feel in my gut this flank was lost until those dice came out with 2 6s and a 5 or whatever it was. So we are wounding on 3s, I think. So let me have a look. I think I just said anyway, didn't I? 4, toughness 4. So yeah, wounding on 4s. Good rolling again, please. Again, a lot of good hits there, you know. They have a 5-up invulnerable save for their silly reflexes, whatever they're called. There's a thing I might have missed on there, which I don't think you should do against flames, personally. But it is what it is. Yeah, 5-up invulnerable save. Got lots of them here. Could do some damage. See how many Gene Stealers die. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dead Gene Stealers. That is really good shooting from these guys. Honestly, that's a lot better than I expected. Toasty roast, 8 dead Gene Stealers. There's going to be 2 left, and they're going to have to do a morale check. I mean, I think it's an auto-fail morale-wise, to be honest. So 8 plus d6. That's 13. They failed. 1 runs away, I think, and one also runs away, I think. I think they've just run away. The Gene Stealers have just died or run away. And that is absolute retribution. That is absolute revenge. That's a few things there for these aggressors on this flank. I think they might have... Honestly, it's closer than I expected, this battle, which is good, isn't it? Entertaining. Now we move on to this combat, and those 2 Hormagaunts are going to try and hit those remaining, what they called, Hellblasters. Let's see if we can take any more away. I think that's 2 hits, is it? Or 3 hits? I think they're hitting on 4s. And then we're going to be wounding on 5s. One of them, minus 1 AP, 4-up save. Failed. So one of them is down to 1 wound. And I've just had an idea. I'm going to declare a charge on that unit there. So d6, let's see if we're even ballpark close. Yeah, that's definitely got us in. So what I'm going to do is do it in such a way that you have like 1 or 2 in combat, and then whoops, hello, a few beers on the Hulk beforehand, so that we are. There we are. Actually, also I need to do the combat here, don't I? Anyway, loads of attacks. Gonna be hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. So falls on the Hellblasters to try and finish. Whoops. That was not intentional. And on the Hellblasters to try and finish them off. 2 hits, hitting on 3s. 3 of them get through, wounding on 3s. Oh, they might do it. These need to be 5-up saves. Oops, let's grab it on camera. Oh, 3. 2 wounds. That is 2 finally dead Hormagaunts. And with that, these Hellblasters are freed up to do some shooting. Those guys are freed up to do some fighting if they want. Things are looking good for the Space Marines after basically having a huge blow when their commander was defeated by Gene Stealers pretty quickly, to be honest. Unexpectedly quickly. Now we move on to this little combat here, don't we? So we've got 7 attacks. Because they're a bit unwieldy, these guys are going to be hitting on 4s. We missed only 2 of them. Pretty good. Now, absolutely pasteurizing Hormagaunts on 2s. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dead Hormagaunts from this unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's also a, what's the word? Leadership concern, because what's d6 plus 5? 5 plus 5 is 10. These guys have failed their morale test. Wow. So that's one more gone. And then I think you roll a d6 for each of the others. And they run away on ones, is it? Another one's one away? Wow. What an absolute turn. A turnip for the books. A turnip for the books for the Space Marines. That's absolutely incredible. And then these two get to fight back. I doubt anything serious is going to happen there. Going to be hitting on 4s, I think it is. Wow, wounding on 5s. Oh, they're wounded. They got no minus AP, I don't think. Well, they have a minus 1 AP, so that's saving on 4s. Could kill one here. There's 1 wound off, and I think they have 3 wounds each. So one of them is down to 2 wounds, which is absolutely acceptable if you think about the combat, how that just went down. Actually, do you know what I should have done? I should have done the, before those guys ran away. So I'm going to do another 2 Hormagaunts worth of attacking, because I got the order wrong there, I think. Oh, so hit on 4s. Wounding on 5s. Some good rolling been happening. One of them, and that's a 4 up. That's a past save, so nothing happened with that anyway. Right then, so that was turn 4. No, that was turn 4 for the Space Marines. And now we're going to move on to turn 4 for the Tyranids. I'll be honest, it is really not looking good for the Tyranids right now. They got a what's he called? Tyranid Prime. I was nearly called them a Primaris Prime. We've got 2 Hormagaunts here who are just getting absolutely pasted. These are all free. The good news is that 5 victory points for having 1, 2 victory points for having 2, I think. Is that right? Yeah. So that's 10 victory points. So if I come to my little board here, so that's on 20. So, I mean, actually, it's not as good as I thought, to be honest. I'm really not looking good for the Tyranids now. Okay, what are the Tyranids going to do, honestly? I think they're just going to hold that objective and hide as much as they can. These are just going to get pasted, and he's going to try and shoot the Hellblasters. He's just going to have to try and whittle them down before they can shoot him down, and before they might come and end up in combat with him. Pretty tough situation, to be honest, for the Tyranids here. But, you know, we will endure. In fact, no, do you know what? I've just had a change of heart. If they just sit there, they're getting killed. Guaranteed. They need to get up in their grills and splat some Space Marines, don't they? That's exactly what needs to happen. Okay, so they're going to come there. He's going to stand there and shoot and try and hold that just to trickle some points. I wonder if it's worth him trying to charge these. I wonder if it's time for the Tyranids just to absolutely... What's he like in combat? A Tyranid Prime. 4 attacks. He gets to reroll 1s. Strength 5. Damage 2. Do you know what? Tyranid Prime is going to go off on the hunt. And so are the Hormagaunts. So, just looking at his data sheet there, I think he can, in the command phase, call himself an Alpha Warrior. I mean, we've all been there, I'm sure. So he gets to reroll wound rolls. So, here we go. We're going to move the 6 inches around the corner. Straighten these guys. Whoops. We're going to move to 6 to there. Okay. He's going to get to shoot. But he's also going to get to try and charge them. I think he's quite good in combat, actually. Especially, I think, if he gets to attack first, that could be good. The Hormagaunts, let's move. So, movement has happened. We're going to D3 shots into the Hellblasters. In fact, no, into the Assault Marines. So, D3 shots. 2 shots. We hit them on 3s, I think, or 2s. Let me just double check. Yeah, it was 2s. So wounding on 2s. We both got through, and that's AP -3. So I think it's 6s. Let me double check. Yep, that's right. And each one of these is a dead assault marine. Ooh, 1 save, 1 dead. We'll splat this guy here. So that was pretty good shooting, to be honest. Now we're going to declare some charging. These guys into there. They probably need a 2 to get in, but how much can they really get in? Wow, huge charge, big as it gets. Tyranid Prime, let's see what he needs to get in. He needs to get a 4. Pretty low roll. This is getting command pointed if it doesn't work. It's getting command pointed. He gets in there. We'll put him there. So yeah, wow, it's back and forth this game. I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. Let's see what happens in combat now with the Tyranid Prime hitting first, and then the homeward ones. So Tyranid Prime, 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, gets a reroll. Gets a reroll. I mean, this is just such a beast. Wounding on 2s, what is it? What does the weapon do? It gives him +2 strength. Okay, wounding on 3s, gets a reroll. Wow. AP on the bone swords is -2. So these get a 5-up save. None of them. Wow. And these are 2 wounds each. So there's 2 dead aggressors there, basically. Oh, actually, no, wait there. So we've got 1 will be him dead. Another 2 wounds would leave him on 1. So the other one would be that. And then, so yeah, we're left with 1 aggressor on 1 wound after all that. And that was absolutely validation for the decision of the Tyranid Prime to charge in there. And wow, it's pretty nuts, this game. I'm honestly, I can't call it right now. I think the Space Marines might win because they've got more units here now. And he could do stuff, I suppose. But yeah, that was Tyranid's turn 4. Let's move on to the very last turn. In fact, no, I haven't even done this combat yet. What am I talking about? Yeah, let's do this combat. And just for ease, I'm going to do it all the rolling off camera, and we'll come back and see what the situation is here. So after that combat, guess what happened, folks? Guess what happened? Absolutely nobody died in that round of combat. Can you believe it? You got 3 assault intercessors, 10 Omicrons, nothing died. So yeah, be thankful that I saved you that rolling. This guy's going to consolidate. And guess where he's going to consolidate? Into the back of this dude who is covering this door. Oh no. That also means that that's contested now. So beginning of the Tyranid turn, they don't have any objectives, but they could table the Space Marines. So, sorry, we're on a Space Marines turn now. So everyone's in combat, no one's going to move out of combat, everyone's just going to fight. So let's do 3 pistols actually over there. Into the Gribblies, hit on 3s, wounding on 3s, killing 1. So 5-up save, or 6-up is it? Anyway, dead. Finally, something's died over there. Right, and now we move on to combat, and the player whose turn it isn't gets to go first. So I think Tyranid Prime is basically going to try and slice and dice this aggressor. 4 attacks, hitting on 2s, re-rolling. Wounding on 2s, re-rolling. What an absolutely horrible character the Tyranid Prime is. If you give him alpha by himself, he's just absolutely just ridiculous. I haven't seen anything like it for quite a while. 5-up saves. These all need a save. Nope, and with that, he is out of there. Look at the dead pile now for the Space Marines. Oof. This is going to be a close one. This is the very last turn, by the way. This is going to be close, I think. Coming over here, we got, what was that? I think it's actually 8 in reachable. So I'm going to do that dice rolling off the camera. Basically 4 of them are going to attack these and 4 are going to attack those. So after that combat, and what was it? An assault and aggressor died, and 2 Hormagaunts. Actually, the Tyranids did really well there. I mean, winning by far on sort of points killed in that combat. That is the end of Space Marines turn 5, the very last turn. On victory points now, we are on 30 to the Space Marines, and now that we go to Tyranids turn 5, the very final turn, they're going to be on 25, so it's 30 to 25. This could come down to points. This could be very close, actually, when we work out the points. So very risky, but these have actually fallen back, so that the Tyranid Prime, who probably has a better chance of killing them, can charge in and attack them first and try and just take some points down with himself. The risk there is that if he dies, he is how many points? Oh, he's 85 points, so he's chunky as well in terms of victory points at the end. Let's see what happens. We're going to do some shooting first, and then we are going to go and do some charging. You can see them all. Probably, I think he's going to attack the assault people with the gun. So D3 shots. If this comes off, then it could be a pretty good move by the Tyranids. Oh, that's 1 shot. Hitting on 2. Yep. Wounding on 2. Getting a reroll. Okay, no. This is a -3 AP, is it? Yeah. So this is a 6 save to save. I'm going to command point that and just try and save a spaceman here. Nope. Mocking. That's a dead Space Marine, and that's good shooting so far. Now we need to see if he can charge in there. He's going to charge the, what do you call them? So he probably needs a 7 to get in. The Hellblasters. So 7's an average dice roll. He should get in. He can command point if he needs to. Let's see what we get. 7. Oh, he just got in. With that, things are looking bad for those Space Marines. If he can just make this work. I mean, he gets loads of rerolls, as we've just seen. Tyranid Prime, painted by my daughter, could be the absolute saviour of the Tyranids here, because to be honest, when all those Gene Stealers got wiped out, I thought that was it for them. These 2 are going to try and charge in. Let's see if they can get in. Nah, that's not enough, lads, but thanks for coming. Tyranid Prime has engaged them both in combat. I'm going to do 2 attacks first against the Hellblasters. Hitting on 2s and re-rolling. Hitting on 2s. Ooh, only 1 of them. Interesting. Wounding on 2s and re-rolling. Wow, look at all this. Wow. He might get splattered. This might be bad dice rolling. Right, here we go. 2 attacks against the assault dude. Wow, these dice. He re-rolls it. Wow, these dice. Wounding on 2, re-rolling. Hits. And it's a 6 up save, is it? Is that right? The bony bones. No, -2 AP, so 5 up save. Failed. That's a dead assault. Primaris. Now these 2 here, Hellblasters. This is on 2 wounds, I think. This Tyranid Prime, they get the chance now to really just potentially just win the battle by getting the victory points that they'll get for score, killing enough points at the end of this turn. This is the last action of the game, is these two Primaris Hellblasters and this Tyranid Prime. So what are the attacks? Let's make sure we get this right. So the Sergeant gets 3, his friend gets 2. 5 attacks. We'll be hitting him on 3, sorry. It's not enough, is it? Wounding on 5, I think. No, it's not enough. I should have command pointed that, actually. Yeah. Anyway, he lives. that's the end of the turns. Now we will, what's the word, work out how many points and then add up the victory points. But that was a pretty close match, to be honest, a lot closer than I expected. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm just going to work the points out now and we'll come back to that. So I've taken some time, and after 5 turns, Space Marines on the left here had 30 victory points and the Tyranids had 25. However, if you look at the amount of points killed, Space Marines killed 342, Tyranids killed 420. That equates to 30 and 45 victory points respectively, which when you add to the in-game victory points, the Tyranids won 65 to 60, and that was reflected very closely, I think, in the match. Like, you know, that's kind of what we've ended up with. Basically, the Tyranids killed a lot more points worth of stuff. It came very close at the end here, but they couldn't kill him. I think that would have been enough for the Space Marines to win it. Right, so this has been my first game of boarding actions. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's a lot of different layouts and things we can do with it. I might do some more of that. I quite enjoy playing it, to be honest. It feels like the Tyranids, it really paid off for them just to be hyper aggressive, as is normal. If I'd hung back there with the Tyranid Prime, I don't think I would have won, to be honest, as the Tyranids. It was that last minute rash decision to bring him around here and kill those aggressors, which went a lot better than I expected. That's kind of what won it. All right then, I've been Peacetime Painting. Thanks for watching and take care of yourselves.